What's up guys, my name is Soulless Baby, and today I want to talk a little about the Season of the Drifter. This isn't really going to be much of an informational piece, and more of an opinion / community feedback type of deal, so if you're not into that, feel free to click away at this point. I also want to add a disclaimer here that I'm going to keep it as real as I possibly can. I'm not going to filter much of my stuff, so if it comes off as a huge rant, I do apologize. I want to be fair as possible about this stuff, and something I like to try and remember is that this is a season pass piece of content and not a full DLC. So obviously it's not going to be a mass amount of stuff to get through, but that's not really the main point of this conversation. Basically what we got with Season of the Drifter so far has been Gambit Prime, the Reckoning, and some new Pinnacle weapons. If you're new to the series, then you'll be able to level up quicker than normal with the Power Surge bounties and get yourself quickly up to 640 in the span of a few hours. Now, I know, this is not all the content we're going to be getting with Gambit Prime. There's new maps and all this kind of stuff, the Revelry coming out later on, so obviously it's going to be a dripple effect just like it was with Season of the Forge. However, there's some issues with a lot of this stuff, such as the Power Surge bounties. A lot of people aren't happy about that, because they feel like all the efforts they put into getting their light level up has just been completely trivialized by these new bounties. I like to see both sides of things, and I get it here on the side of people that are irritated. I agree, I would be upset if I just spent all my free time trying to get through Black Armor to hit max level, and Bungie just comes in and sweeps all these people that haven't been as committed as me up to the required level for the new content. If this is something that I only did 1 or 2 hours a day and I really had to work for it, I'd be upset too. But at the same time, we all have to be honest with ourselves. Bungie's player base is a lot smaller than it used to be, and they have heavy competition from other games right now, like Anthem and The Division, and even Apex Legends for its PvP crowd. So they need to make the game as easily accessible as they can for new players, so it's more enticing for them to keep playing and hopefully buy future content, because Bungie really needs revenue right now. That they don't have Activision's money to float the boat is really hindering them. But this leads to a strange question. Are these bounties going to be available for next season as well? Because if they are, what exactly is the point of grinding in the activities you don't like? And even really, do you need to do them at all? Or can we just play the content that we enjoy and just get the Pinnacle weapons maybe and stuff that's time-gated like drops from the Revelry? There's no raid or anything really for me to chase after to need to have that higher light level, except maybe invading at my maximum light and the later courses of the Reckoning that are going to be coming out later in this season. And I understand that this is not about a raid or anything like that, but it makes me feel like I don't need to grind as much, because I know that these Power Surge bounties are just going to be there for the end of next season, and I'll be able to get right up to the power level I need to be in order to play those activities. Moving on from that, the new Gambit Prime mode is basically Gambit with a few more things right now. You can't melt a Primeval as soon as you summon it, there's more invading, and it's on a new map, but it still feels like Gambit. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the game mode, and I think whenever we start being able to use the full perks on the armor, that we'll be able to really have some interesting play and do some special stuff with it. However, team-based play is heavy, and I mean really heavy. It's super sweaty, and if you're solo, you're not going to have the easiest time, but it's still doable if you can fend off the invaders in a timely fashion. If you can't, well then, good luck to you, sir. You're not going to have a good time. I haven't delved too far into the Pinnacle weapons we've gotten, but none of them really seem super special, but those things can be really deceiving, so we'll just have to wait and see whenever we get them. The Crucible one in particular, though, is curious to me, because the new pulse that Shax is selling in his inventory says that you need to be Legend in order to buy it. Legend to buy this pulse rifle. Yeah. And if you're telling me right now that I have to get Legend to get the Pinnacle submachine gun, oh boy, I probably ain't doing that. Even with the buff to submachine guns, I just don't see that being good enough for me to care. Like I said, I don't know that that's the case, but I really hope it isn't, because that would just be insane. The Reckoning game mode is okay, but it's getting really boring really fast. It's just waves of Taken with a mini-boss at the end with a timer. There's rotating buffs right now, but I don't think that's going to stay around forever, and are probably on a rotation like all the buffs for the playlists are. I understand the mechanic of it, and being able to farm out the Gambit gear is nice, because I don't have to wait, but I just don't have an incentive to do it because there aren't enough powerful rewards to make it feel like it matters, and then we track back to the same point of, do I even need the powerful rewards if there's going to be power surge bounties later? I don't know. But even with all that stuff, I could still consider Season of the Drifter a win for Bungie. It's not a lot of content, but nobody should expect it to be. The main thing that irritates me, and most people, is Bungie dropping the nerf hammer. Well, I say nerf hammer, but they really just strapped some nerfs to an atomic bomb and set that bad boy off. Every heavy that I at one point considered useful is gone, and the only one that got buffed that I ever used was 1000 Voices, and I guess Striker's Surehand, it's actually pretty good now. Now, you can argue that the nerf to Whisper is fine, because if you've never missed a shot, you'll have infinite ammo, and the reserve nerf isn't really an issue. If you argue you never miss a shot with Whisper, then I want you to get right back on that golden unicorn you rode in on, and get out of my comments. Nobody thinks you're cool. The main reason all of this bothers me so much is not that they did it. I understand they don't want to ruin Gambit Prime with Primeval melting, and they didn't want shotguns to be overpowered and better than heavies. Maybe they even want to give snipers a time to shine in a close quarter sniping environment. I can get over literally all of that and find new guns to use. That's totally okay. What I can't get over is for the millionth time they straight up lied to us. Let me make this clear. I almost always defend Bungie because I know what it's like to develop something, and it's a lot harder than what people think it is. But they told us at one point that nerfing would be a last resort and that they would bring other weapons up to be more useful rather than killing other weapons. I don't see that here. I see a million nerfs to make gameplay conform to their standards and very little regard for anyone in the community. Nobody has asked for this kind of stuff. I don't think I read a single post of anyone happy about the, quote, buffs they did. Not the shotguns, or rockets, sleeper or whisper. Nobody likes that. And to further this point, if all these nerfs were focused around Gambit Prime, why in God's name didn't they just give the enemies in there more health, or nerf the weapons specifically for Gambit and not ruin it for the rest of the game? They've proven they can do this kind of stuff before. Like the Raid or the Forge. Do you really want to take Sleeper anywhere now? I don't. Why would you? Don't get me wrong here, I'm not bashing Destiny. I love this game, and I always will. It will have a special place in my heart. I just don't have a clue what Bungie is doing with their life right now, and I hope they really get their stuff together. I really apologize if this comes off as ranting or whatever. I don't want it to be like that, but as far as I'm concerned, I needed to get this off my chest here and maybe get some feedback from you guys on what you're feeling about this stuff. Don't get me wrong here, I'm still going to cover it, and I still think there are some gems in here for me to do, but at the same time, I want to get some of your feedback on how you feel about seeing Season of the Drifter stuff, because the only reason I'm asking this is from my perspective, and probably from your perspective and many others, is that if you sit here on your phone or talking to your friends, there's a lot of negative reception about this DLC or season content. And I don't want to get strung up covering some DLC content when I could be covering Anthem or Apex or The Division when it comes out. If you guys don't care all that much, let me know. I am perfectly fine to change my content around what you guys want to do as long as it's something that I enjoy playing as well, because that part is actually kind of important. That's all I have for you guys today. Leave me a comment telling me how you honestly feel about all of this. Like this video if you feel like it. Subscribe to the channel for future Destiny content. And with that, guys, see you in the next video. Have a good one.